Hey crafty friends, this is Jenny from Craft Test Dummies. Today I'm doing a little video overview of the walnut ink sprays from Tsukineko. And these are walnut ink antiquing solutions. They come in these cute little teeny weeny spray bottles. They have about a third of a fluid ounce or 8 milliliters. They come with a nice little cap and it's a nice spray solution. So while these are dye-based, it means that they're pretty fast drying. They soak right into your porous surface, and there's not a lot of mixy going on here. Even when they're wet, they don't particularly mix colors. It's more of a layered color effect. You can still see some integrity of the blue and of the pink, even in the terracotta. I found that if you get really close, you get kind of an intensified blob. If you move, whoop, I just sprayed me. If you spray back, it spreads out. So you can kind of control how saturated or how light you want the mist to be, just depending on how close or far away. Now, because these are the dyes, if you want it to blend, you really should wet the paper first. So now I'm misting with just plain old water. I'm gonna go ahead and spritz, and now you'll see that it will move around a little bit, or if you hit it while it's still really wet, you can get it to bleed. But notice I'm spraying right here and it's not moving. This part was still wet. Let me show you that again. Actually, I'll bring in that other piece of paper. So here's some playing I was doing earlier. I really wanted to make it very wet and saturated, but if I spray, like say right here, take a close look, I can re-wet it, but I can't really get it to blend that much. So what we would call is like basically non-reactive after it's dried. This wasn't even heat set. So what that means is it's going to be good for layering, because once you put this down, it's going to soak right in, it's going to be pretty permanent on your surface, and then you can do other things on top without it, bleeding out. Now, if you want it to reactivate and do like a ghosting technique, this is not your spray. This is more of a dye. It's going to dye your paper. Now, I just want to show you some samples. This is some fun stuff I did with the new Balzer Designs stencils, and I just sprayed through those inks through the dyes, and you can see how beautiful that turned out to be. Here's another example of that. So I sprayed it through, and then I flipped the stencil over and I did a second print with it. Worked out really well. I also did some kind of interesting non-traditional things. Let me put this down so you can see. Here I did a doily, and this was a white doily. In order to get it to really soak into the fibers, I sprayed it with water first, and then I sprayed it with the Tsukineko sprays. This is actually a little piece of leather. It's actually a drum skin head. It did not take the dyes at all, just so you know. Here's a piece of white felt, little ribbony type of thing from Martha Stewart. And as you can see, it picked up the dyes pretty well. I'm not sure I would want to launder that, but just so you know, you can, dye. This is a twill ribbon. Again, I soaked it with water first and then went ahead and sprayed it so that the fibers would really soak that up for you. Now, if you want to use it on black paper, you're kind of out of luck, because these are inks. They are not going to show up at all on a dark surface. Here's just some examples of some printed scrapbook paper. This was the blue color on yellow and the blue on green. You can kind of see before and after, and on some pink, and on some sheet music. Now what I like about this is that it doesn't have like a heavy pigment load in it, so you get that wash effect. You're gonna see what's happening underneath. So it's really nice just to add washes of color to things. So, and here I'll just show you lastly, I was doing a little bit of playing in my sketchbook here. And I was using, here I used the black, or not, it's not black, it's called Java. It's a dark chocolatey brown as a base layer, and then I used some other resists and sprays on top. And because it soaks into the paper and it doesn't react, you can play with mixing colors on top, and you know that that layer of Tsukineko antiquing solution is going to stay put for you. So it's really cool. And I like the colors. I didn't get a sample of all the colors to play with. I got like a pink, cherry blossom, terracotta, java, and then that blue color. But all of those swatches of the colors I received will actually be on the blog. So I hope this was helpful, and please click over to the link in the comment section to read the full review. And again, this is Jenny from crafttestdummies.com. I would love to see you there, and I would love it if you gave this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Thanks so much and have a crafty day.